Welcome back to Friends by Film. I'm one of the co-hosts here, Daniel Polidoro.
And I'm Tyler Pacholski. Welcome to today. What do we got to talk about today, Daniel?
Disney made some huge Star Wars announcements, so we're going to go over that.
Really?
And give our thoughts. Yeah, man.
I was watching that stream live and so anticipating the Star Wars section. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I know you're a big Star Wars fan. And to hear early on in that Investors Day speech, them announcing 10 different Star Wars projects, boom.
I know. How did you feel about, they didn't show any clips, though? I feel like through the whole thing, it was kind of boring, so I stopped watching it.
Yeah, so I was watching a live stream from another YouTuber, John Campia, and I know that there were certain, they did have a sizzle reel for Andor that was announced for that, and then the Bad Batch. But yeah, no, I think that my most anticipated right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and start this off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of the 10, okay, so out of the 10, Obi-Wan Kenobi. That is a limited series event that I am very much interested in.
I'm with you.
The way it was described, 10 years after the dramatic events of Revenge of the Sith, the birth of Darth Vader, we start off with Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, also the return of Hayden Christensen. Wasn't a big fan of him. Say what you want about him. I'm curious and excited to see his incorporation 10 years after the fact. Another series that I'm very looking forward to is going to be unexplored territory of the High Republic. Lucasfilm is getting ready to venture their publishing group into the High Republic, which is set 200 years prior to the events of the Phantom Menace. There's a show called The Acolyte, which, if I'm not mistaken, is going to take on a very unique perspective of looking at the Star Wars universe through the lens of someone who is evil.
Probably the rise of the Sith, right? From what I understand.
Yeah, I don't know so much about it, but I thought that was an intriguing idea. So that's another anticipated. In terms of the feature films, I loved Taika Waititi's stuff, including Thor Ragnarok. Very much interested to see what he does with his standalone Star Wars film. That we are aware of. And also the surprise announcement, Patty Jenkins helming a Rogue Squadron film. That's exciting.
You got to see Top Gun now, because it's going to be Top Gun. Star Wars Top Gun now. It's going to be Star Wars Top Gun.
Star Wars Top Gun.
I'm with you, man. I am stoked for...
I feel the need for light speed, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel you, man. Obi-Wan Kenobi, that series is going to be number one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait, because... Is Obi-Wan going to try to turn Anakin back? Or is Vader going to be hunting Obi-Wan?
That's a good question.
Are they going to have Joel Edgerton back as Uncle Owen?
I thought about that the other day, actually. I was like, are we going to get some, Uncle Ben stuff?
Qui-Gon Jinn going to return? I mean, there's so many cool things they could do with this.
If I'm not mistaken, I was reading some of the descriptions of the footage that was described for the investors at Disney. There was a conversation with the director, Deborah Chow, who has directed a couple episodes of The Mandalorian, stating that we will likely see another climactic battle, lightsaber upon lightsaber. And there was some concept art that did show a robed Kenobi up against Darth Vader, which... Yeah. If you go back to the film A New Hope, you start to ask yourself the question, okay, well, how did this happen? So there's maybe some continuity going on there that they're going to have to reconcile. If I'm also not mistaken, there's going to be some off-world venturing. And I think there is a description of a watery type of planet. So for the 6 episodes that we're going to get, I'm very much excited and curious to see.
It's only 6?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, I believe it's confirmed to be 6 episodes. It's a mini series.
Wow. Okay. I hope they're an hour long. I mean,
I think at that particular point in time, they got to be no less than 52 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. The people that they're bringing back.
Yeah.
It's.
What are your thoughts on Hayden's return as Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker?
I'm excited about it, man. I actually love Revenge of the Sith. It's so campy and it's just it's so ridiculous at times. That's why I appreciate it.
Revenge of the Sith is definitely my favorite of the prequel era films. I think there's a lot of interesting lore, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis, and Hayden Christensen did a pretty good job with what he had script-wise and direction.
I think we're going to see the Inquisitors as well, that's from Rebels, if you guys probably know out there. I think we're going to see some of that too.
Yes. The hunting of the Jedi, perhaps seeing Obi-Wan in a position where his location has been identified, maybe which leads him going off-world.
Exactly.
I can see that definitely happening. I'm also interested in seeing Obi-Wan's characterization, his best friend turned Darth Vader, him potentially feeling guilty with having did what he did by taking the higher ground and doing what he needed to do.
Now, are we going to get a bunch of
We might explore themes like PTSD or something.
Yeah, are we going to get some scenes like that, maybe that are flashbacks or PTSD through the Force of Anakin without the Vader garb on? Because obviously he's all burnt up and stuff. So how much are they going to show of Hayden?
I think we're going to see Hayden Christensen scarred up. I think we're going to see some more of that dynamic, him communicating perhaps, or just being alone. Maybe a lot more facial acting by Hayden Christensen. I think we'll see some of that. And I think one of my brothers did mention this too. We might potentially get maybe answers as to who saved Grogu from the temple, the Jedi temple. If they do a flashback recounting those events, maybe not Obi-Wan, but perhaps there is an encounter with another Jedi that, I don't know. The sky's the limit with this, with our theorizing and fan theories.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one. Another one I'm really excited about, and they kind of did a soft pilot of it, is the Ahsoka series. I'm really excited about what they're going to do with her. Are they going to just have her chase after Thrawn? They could. They've also mentioned since the Ahsoka, and I think it was the Rangers of the New Republic, those are two spin-offs of Mandalorian, that they could end all three series in like a big main event type episode, or sort of mashup series.
I think you're correct.
I would love that, and like Thrawn is the big baddie of the three type thing. I mean, that would make sense to me right now, as of what we know.
Yeah, I think going forward with everything that's been happening lately with COVID-19 and the unfortunate bad news regarding AMC theaters and just theaters in general, I think streaming and television type of format of TV is going to be the new future of the cinematic universe. I mean, we're not going to go so much into it, but Marvel's greenlighting so many different television series, miniseries events that are ultimately going to combine with movies. And so, yeah, I can see the development, the formation of an ultimate baddie like Thrawn being the main villain of these three different types of shows. I think that would be an appropriate villain to have in terms of an antagonist.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. You think about it too, they announced 2 films, Star Wars, 2 films, and then 8 other TV projects. That's huge.
Which, fascinatingly enough, do we recall Rian Johnson's trilogy? I found that very interesting that we didn't hear any news about that.
I think they're done with trilogies at this point in time. I know what you're saying.
What am I saying, man? No, I think Rian Johnson's an excellent filmmaker. I would prefer to see him play in the Star Wars universe sandbox with new characters of his own. Last Jedi, for those of you that are not aware, is not nowhere near one of my favorite entries in the Skywalker saga. But yeah, no, I was curious to hear, to think to myself, how come those weren't announced or talked about?
Right.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the new trilogy by Rian Johnson was somewhat discussed just either freshly after Last Jedi, and that was like 3 years ago. So
yeah, the plan originally was to have 2 movies per year come out of Star Wars, and that began to be stale after Last Jedi, which I think hurt Han Solo's movie, or the Solo story,
which I think is a great film. It's a great adventure film.
I think the second half is good.
Okay.
I think that hurt the box office though, because it was right after Last Jedi, 5 months after. They should have
Mhm.
kept with Christmas, have them earn the Christmas money.
Yes.
By then people would have been over the Last Jedi reaction. They would have been ready for maybe a solo story. I don't know, but they're definitely going with TV. And I found it interesting too that they didn't budge on the theatrical. They're sticking with theatrical for like it's a segue to sidetrack to Marvel real quick. They're sticking to theatrical with Black Widow so far, and they're saying theatrical with Rogue Squadron and Taika Waititi's movie. So I mean, those movies. I'm not saying Rogue Squadron per se could be a trilogy, but I think Taika Waititi could possibly be a trilogy. We'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just like a soft open, or what have you.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it was identified as a purely standalone film. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was described as Taika Waititi's Star Wars. So I think, depending on the reception,
Exactly.
I'm sure the fidelity that the creators, the executive producers at Lucasfilm have in his vision, I think we could definitely see a series of his Star Wars films. I'm curious to see what time period it takes place in. Are we going to get some High Republic stuff? Or are we going to get some films that don't necessarily... Well, welcome back. We had some technical difficulties. Thank you for bearing with us. I think last time we were talking, maybe Rian Johnson. What were we talking about, Daniel?
Yeah, we were talking about that director, but
that director. Knives Out. I will say Knives Out is a very fun, excellent whodunit type of movie that I really enjoyed. If I'm not mistaken, I would love to see Rian Johnson film another Star Wars, take another jab at Star Wars. I think that would be a good one. I think we also talked about. We were talking about Han Solo. I think we were talking about that.
Yeah, I think Rian Johnson will return in The Mandalorian as a director.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm not mistaken, we did mention Breaking Bad. He directed the penultimate episode, Ozymandias, in Breaking Bad's final. Was it the final season? Yes, the penultimate episode of the series. That was excellent. Excellent writing.
Yes.
Excellent direction. So
yes. He also did The Fly, right? The Fly episode.
Yes, he did do the Fly episode where they're all just him and Jesse are hanging out in the laboratory, just talking, and there's a fly.
That seems more like Mandalorian to me. That.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being like one of those filler episodes, kind of like The Passenger, where we didn't get a lot until the very ending sequence with all the ice fighters. But that definitely brought more pathos and understanding of the complexity of the characters and what was at stake.
So should we go right into Rangers of the New Republic?
Since that's let's do it. I think we did mention about how that's tying in with Mando and Ahsoka.
Is this Cara Dune's show? You think she's going to run the Rangers?
I think I have a feeling, or and I can't remember his actual character's name, but one of the new Resistance pilots that's patrolling with Dave Filoni's character. I can see that being another reoccurring character.
Maybe, yeah. And I would love to see Timothy Olyphant in this.
Recruited into the fold?
Yeah, something like that.
Top Vanth, man. I can see that. Wanting to, he's been a marshal for how long now? Maybe wanting to explore more of the universe. That's a character from The Mandalorian that I enjoyed tremendously. And I would love to see him return in some aspect, if not Mandalorian, New Rangers of the Republic.
Be perfect.
Absolutely. I could also see us maybe getting some Mayfield.
Yep.
I can see that definitely. There. I don't mind the character of Mayfield. I just thought he was a mixed bag this past episode.
Right.
But I could definitely see him, joining the fold.
Go watch our thoughts on that episode.
Yes, watch that.
Okay, then we have Ahsoka. We talked about that a little bit.
Which I'm also curious about. I don't have a lot of knowledge of her. I haven't watched the Clone Wars in its entirety, and I know she's a part of Rebels, which I'm currently watching. But I am also curious. I felt that Rosario Dawson did an excellent job. I did believe her as Ahsoka Tano. and I think she is a character worth checking out, especially especially with her wanting to go after a big baddie like Thrawn. I think we'll definitely get a continuation of her journey to find out not only what happened with Thrawn, but also Ezra Bridger. I can see that getting thrown in there too.
I think you got to have Ezra in this one and Thrawn as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Grogu also shows up in an episode.
Yeah, I can see that somewhere down the road.
Mm-hmm. I could see that too. It's gonna be interesting, and that's Dave Filoni's baby right there. That's gonna be his.
Oh yeah.
I think Favreau and Filoni are both taking part in Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka, but I feel like Dave Filoni is definitely in Ahsoka. That's going to be his show.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on Andor? I mean, that's a Rogue One character.
All right, so let me go ahead and preface. I'm not as
This was my least favorite.
One.
This is my least excited one, by the way.
Oh, it is your least excited one? Okay. So Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is not that. I don't like it as much as a lot of people do. I definitely think there are moments in that movie. I think the final act of that film is really strong, especially the last 10 minutes where we see a major character make his appearance. And
you can say his name.
Lord Darth Vader. Cassian Andor was not a character that I cared about. And I was so surprised to hear his character have his own show. If anything else, I thought we were going to maybe get something with Jyn Erso. But, yeah, I'm curious to see to what extent Cassian Andor and others of the rebellion will do, shady or not shady, to make sure that their mission of the rebellion is seen to fruition. So I'm curious to see that element. I'm sure we'll get some more scum and villainy. I hope it takes a darker edge. I think based on what we saw in the sizzle reel, we're going to get some good adventure. Not my favorite.
Yeah,
so
same here.
It's definitely one of the least anticipated shows for me.
Yeah. So. Yeah, same here. And it's one that I may not really rush to see. It depends. Mm-hmm. If somebody like a Lando, which brings us to another announcement, a Lando shows up in Andor, and what's his name? Andor. Yeah. If he shows up in that series, that would be interesting as a cameo.
This might surprise you, but Lando's not a series that I'm also really looking forward to seeing. If anything else, unless that is going to be a continuation of what we saw in Solo: A Star Wars Story, maybe some Alden Ehrenreich as a supporting character, I'm not so much interested in the adventures of Lando. I might be surprised, but when I heard that, it wasn't identified as, is Donald Glover attached to that? We don't know. Is this going to be an animated series? There's a lot of unknowns. I know we do have I can't remember his name, but we have a promising director, it's helming that series. So I'm curious, but Lando didn't really do anything for me.
Lando in Rise of Skywalker makes a very interesting claim to that lady. I forgot her name. But in the theaters,
Ray?
I was just like, no. The lady that's with Finn. And they're riding the horses and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Is it Jana, I think?
Something like that. Yeah. He goes, well, let's find out your story or whatever. And I was like,
you think we're going to get Billy D. Williams?
I think we're going to get like a Billy D. Williams type of cameo where it's like
he's like maybe narrating.
Yeah, exactly.
His adventures.
He's narrating, and then Donald Glover's going to be in reenacting it type thing.
I can definitely see that narrative structure. I didn't even think about that. I just thought to myself, we're going to get Donald Glover, or we're going to get some sort of animated Donald Glover. But
I think that style would get me excited about it.
I think so too. So we have Lando Calrissian in this like intergalactic suite with a nice fire, and he's maybe drinking some liquor, and he's telling the story. I can see that happening.
He's telling that lady, the character, the story. Maybe they're going out and adventuring, trying to find her thing. Then the final episode is they see her origin or something. I don't know. I'm writing the whole damn thing right now. It sounds like,
All
because I
right.
think
Hey,
it's
take
going to be
notes,
like a.
Lucasfilm.
This
If you're
is.
having any particular notes. Now, was it? I can't
I
remember
think
if
it's a
it was
limited series
confirmed.
though. I think it's going to be 6 episodes as well, only.
I can see it as a limited series event as well. I think that will be one of those limited series events. Um, there's nothing wrong with the character of Lando. I think he is interesting in his own right, especially his character arc and when we're introduced to him in Empire Strikes Back, at least back in time, the betrayal. I think there's a lot you could do with that. But yeah, I personally he's not as interesting of a character for me. However, I will most likely see it. I'm not, like you said, gonna rush to see it, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, it was middle of the road for me as well. Above Andor, though, I would say.
Okay.
Okay, then we have a couple animated ones. 3 animated. A Droid Story, The Bad Batch, and Visions, an anime.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Bad Batch? Have you seen the Clone Wars? I haven't seen it, and I've heard that not a lot of people were interested or invested in the Bad Batch storyline.
It looks
But it looks
cool. I
entertaining.
mean, it looks cool. Looks like, kind of like a Dirty Dozen type thing that we're seeing in Mandalorian a little bit.
In the sizzle reel, we saw Tarkin, so we'll probably get him as probably the big baddie of that particular, at least, season. We'll probably see more of Tarkin in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I might check it out to fill in my Star Wars cravings like I am with Rebels.
Yeah. Visions that you mentioned, I was thinking something a la the Animatrix, getting different filmmakers, storytellers, putting their own different spin on the Star Wars universe. I think that's fascinating.
I saw
That's
that. I saw the trailer too for that one. That was pretty interesting.
There's a trailer for that already?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's fan made maybe, but it looks like it. To
Okay.
me, it was like.
Check it out.
To me, it looked legit. I was like, "Holy crap, man! This is."
Okay. A droid story. I felt that 2 of our favorite droids were unfortunately left out a lot in the sequel trilogy. It is going to be nice to see their particular side story mission. And I think Kathleen Kennedy described it as a wholly new mission that no human has laid eyes on. So I think we're going to get hopefully some fun interplay and hijinks.
It's not their origin story?
I don't think it's their origin story.
Okay.
I think it's an entirely new mission. I'm not sure what time period it takes place, but the way it was pitched was a story that no one is aware of. So I think it's entirely through the eyes of the droids, or we just follow the droids. But yeah, man, I honestly thought R2-D2 and C-3PO were so incredibly underused in the sequel trilogy.
Especially R2.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, we can. That's another episode we can.
Oh yeah, definitely. We could definitely dissect that sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see that,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think the sequel trilogy has a lot of good, a lot of mixed, and some not so good. But yeah, we'll get.
Did
to
you
that
see the
in
Kevin Trevorrow script leaked or whatever? Did you see all that?
Oh, Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah,
was originally going to be directing what we would have known as Duel of the Fates. I thought that was interesting.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a whole podcast we could do. But I mean, I'm glad you saw that stuff because I was going to bring it up if you hadn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch some of that stuff because some of it evades me. If I'm not mistaken, they go to Coruscant or some old Jedi temple.
Somebody animated the whole thing.
Yes.
In like 15 minutes, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that definitely sometime down the road. But yeah, man, out of those 3 particular animated shows, The Bad Batch, A Droid Story, and Visions, what are you most looking forward to?
The Bad Batch, I would say.
The Bad Batch?
I'm just not really an anime person. Sorry. But,
yeah.
And then the Droid Story.
I'm not so much an anime person, but I am definitely curious to see that art style liven up Star Wars. That might be my entryway to anime.
True. A Droid Story kind of seems like a kid show,
Yeah, like one of the Star Wars shorts.
Yeah,
see occasionally.
Yeah. I think that was about everything.
I think that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Star Wars.
Me too. I think the future of Star Wars is bright. It remains bright. I think that going forward, with everything that's going on with COVID-19 and the pandemic, it makes sense that we're going to see a lot more offerings on Disney Plus streaming, their emphasis. I'm definitely hoping for some more tentpole films, a la, Taika Waititi's Star Wars, Rogue Squadron. I'm curious to hear if we'll hear more about Rian Johnson's trilogy. I'm also curious to hear about video games.
I don't think it's happening.
You think it's done?
I think he will direct an episode of Mandalorian or one of these other shows.
Yep.
And then the fan reaction will dictate whether or not he does a film again.
Okay. All right. Do you think we'll get a Lucasfilm directed Star Wars, considering his recent statements of how painful it was to sell Star Wars? Or do you think George Lucas's days as at least directing a Star Wars film are over?
I will say next season, George Lucas of The Mandalorian, George Lucas is going to direct an episode.
Ooh. I think, say what you want about the prequels and other things, and I think Rian Johnson's probably in that same camp. You can't satisfy everybody. But I think, time heals all wounds, so I think we could probably see some of that.
Look at Hayden Christensen. Like, people hated him. Literally hated him in the prequels. And now fans are loving him coming back. So, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
There's no hope for Jar Jar, but...
Oh, man. Jar Jar gets a lot of crap. He's okay. He's passable. He's definitely a very... he's a device that's aimed towards kids. I get that. But yeah, man. Well, I also am excited for Star Wars. Guys, what are your thoughts? What are you looking forward to? What are you not looking forward to? Leave a comment below and let us know. Daniel, where can they find you?
At PoliPictures on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can also find this show, Friends by Film, on Facebook, where you guys can post anything you want. We'll post questions for the show, topics,
Absolutely.
Interesting articles. We'll start putting some stuff on there too. So we want to build a community, and we appreciate every like we have. I think we're close to 100, so I'm really excited.
That's incredible, man.
I'm excited to hear from everybody out there. Let's just keep it going.
Yeah. Hey, Daniel, what are your thoughts? Next person that gives us a question, we'll just go ahead and talk about it. At least, mention it in our next episode.
Absolutely. Let us know.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Tyler_Pacholski, Pacholski. Yeah, feel free to engage with me, and really appreciate your feedback. Hope all is well with your side of things, and may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.